Good morning, fresh week, Monday, December 8th. This is the Automotive State of the Union. I'm Paul J. Daly. This is Kyle Mountsier in the Detroit airport, live from the Delta counter. Today we're talking about Scout going heavy on service, Carvana, and Waymos driving like they stole it.
Drive it. Look, I'm ready for it. I'm here for it.
The third
Man, I'm getting people from zone 4 to zone 3. I'm upgrading to first class. We got, we're just all over here at the Delta,
It's so perfect.
counter.
If you're watching, that is not a fake background. Kyle's literally standing at a Delta service desk in the Detroit airport right now. And if you're there too, you can find him. What gate are you at?
I don't know. B12. It's an unused
he's in B.
Go hang out. Just saying, Yeah, I'm in the little B. Now A. We landed in A. We came over here. We're chilling. So
that's amazing. That's
good.
Amazing. That's so good.
What a mess.
Oh,
we do the pod from anywhere. We do the pod from anywhere.
We do. Look, this is commitment, folks. Who needs a studio? We have an airport. We have AirPods. We have Wi-Fi. Like, let's just get to it.
It's done.
Oh, man, we got a bunch of great stuff coming this week. You're going to start seeing promo pieces, probably have already. We have an exclusive interview with Ryan Decker of Scout Motors. Basically, we got to sit with him in LA. We're going to release that episode this week. What day is it? Thursday we're releasing? I think, yep. Thumbs up from Nathan. Thursday.
Thumbs up from Nathan.
So it'll be on our socials. If you're not following us on LinkedIn, that's probably the best place to see the whole thing, but all the other channels as well. But if you want to hear the whole thing, subscribe to Auto Collabs, AUTOCOLLABS. Does the .com go there now, Kyle?
The .com goes right to the landing page. You can subscribe on anywhere you. Yeah, exactly. And honestly, it's not just for that one. We had, I think, 10 or 12 conversations, actually probably close to 20 conversations across LA, Auto Show, the DC time that we had there at the merge. So you're going to want to be on Auto Collabs.
Yeah, it was kind of an unintentional. Both of these events came together pretty quickly. It was kind of an unintentional insertion into like the center of like these very broad conversations. I'm reading Wall Street Journal, Reuters, like we do all the time, automotive news. And we realize all the things they're talking about right now are conversations that we had weeks ago. So now we have some really relevant insights from the people making the decisions. So make sure you follow, go to autocollabs.com so you don't miss any one of those. Today's episode of the Automotive State of the Union brought to you by our friends at Mia. Mia is your dealership 24/7 AI super employee. Who wants one of those? Built by car people, for car people. Mia handling every call with natural human-like conversation. Integrates with your systems to book sales and service appointments instantly. It'll check inventory, handle real customer questions, and, like everybody loves this answer, zero. How does zero wait time sound? It sounds great. There aren't any scripts, no phone trees, just AI native help that is boosting your revenue and your CSI. Sign us up from your friends at Mia. All right, let's get into some
Plug
news.
it in.
Scout Motors today, this weekend, announced doubling down on factory-run service network as it preps for a 2027 U.S. launch, betting that premium, reliable service will become a key differentiator in the direct-to-consumer EV space. Scout planning to open 25 brand-owned rooftops at launch. So it's going to be a combination of their studios where you can shop and interact with a sales advisor and Scout workshops where service is performed. 57 rooftops are planned in year 2. So that means between year 1 and year 2, we're going to be over 75 is the plan. Wow. The brand is planning 15% more annual service labor capacity than projected to stay ahead of demand and reduce wait times. They're looking to staff 1,400 service bays with roughly 900 techs within 5 years. They're backed by VW Group resources, but operating independently, obviously a big topic of debate. Ryan actually says something about this and their position on this during our interview. Reservation momentum looking very strong, 130,000 hand raisers. 70% of those living within 45 minutes of one of Scout's planned rooftops. Here's a quote from Cody Thacker, VP of Commercial Operations. He says, "The way we describe our retail operations is a digital-first experience built on a service-first infrastructure."
This is going to be the big trigger that if they figure this out, they will leapfrog immediately leapfrog Rivian and Tesla. That has been the biggest struggle that most people have with those brands, is understanding how to get service locally and in proximity and with speed. planning a 15% more annual service labor capacity is a big deal. I think we actually struggle with that as an industry. The question for me is how they're going to staff it with 900 technicians, what the protocol for that is, what the training opportunities are for that, and whether or not they can keep pace with the pay of the dealership network. But it is clear that Scout has come to play. It was great to chat with Ryan a bit about what they do. We're obviously close to the dealer network, and there are concerns about whether or not Scout's go-to-market strategy on the back of VW is prudent in the relationship with their dealers. But my contention is still strong that if dealers lean in and continue to be consumers' first choice, then any OEM will figure out a way to involve the dealer over time.
I think this is another example of the franchise network having an opportunity to pay attention to what's going on, learn from it, and then become better themselves. Very similarly to what happened when we've been talking about Carvana and Carvana doing all their stuff. Speaking of Carvana doing stuff.
Stop. Segue.
I mean, let's go from the next. A lot to learn from disruptors. Carvana's comeback officially Wall Street Journal certified, we'll call it, as the online used car disruptor joins the S&P 500, marking a stunning rebound from a near bankruptcy to an $87 billion valuation that now eclipses Ford and GM for the time being. Shares have surged more than 8,000% since 2022. Congrats to anyone who bought and held, and nearly doubled in 2025 as demand rebounded and cost discipline kicked in. Carvana now trading at 57x their forward earnings, massively outpacing Detroit's single-digit multiples. The company sold a record of 155,941 units in Q3, driving 55% revenue growth and fueling analyst confidence in potential volume leadership over CarMax by 2026. Index inclusion on December 22nd is expected to trigger significant buying from funds tracking the S&P. Here's a quote from Rick Meckler, Cherry Lane Investments. He said, quote, "It continues to have a loyal stock following who believe their model can continue to gain market share and improve profitability." What a story.
Look, if sales volume doesn't speak for anything more than pay attention, then I don't know what you're paying attention to. The other piece of this is I think they're up to 4 Stellantis dealerships at this point across the country, and giving them.
Kyle's answering a question. He's about to get kicked out. You getting kicked out?
I'm getting kicked out. Hang tight.
We're going to hang tight as he gets kicked out. I know Kyle was talking about the new cars and what happens when the new car the new car dealerships are in play now. And, somebody posted on LinkedIn about the curve of their sales. And I remember seeing Kyle's comment. He said, yo, what about new cars? I think that as Carvana continues to step into this new car world, what's going to happen is obviously it's going to fuel their new used car business, and it's going to expand their profit operations and profitable operations. CarMax, on the other hand, doesn't have that same thing going for it. It'll be interesting to see how the two come together. Kyle's getting set up. He got booted. I saw the rec code guys. They were hauling him away.
They were hauling me away. CarMax has honestly tried this a couple times. And so interesting to see Carvana's early success, taking their first dealership into 4th in their region when it was historically bad. They've figured out process. They've figured out operations. They've figured out sales velocity. And when you pair the ability to get trade-ins off of new vehicles, it's going to be a whole new ballgame for them. They still see higher profitability per vehicle by about $1,200 per vehicle round. There's some interesting, accounting that people have question marks over that. Either way, pay attention to this brand, what they do in the market, how they portray themselves, and how they position their used cars from a merchandising perspective, because anybody can learn from that.
I think one thing that Carvana has figured out and done really well with, and the reason those, that story you mentioned that went from like very low down to number 4 in their market, is because they figured out brand first attention. They figured out how to build a following and a reputation through high level brand marketing, and then working that down the funnel into performance level marketing. So they paid attention to the high level marketing, did a great job, and then they funneled it down. And then now that they have that thing built, buy a new car store, great. They can just point that at the new car store and then generate the attention, bring the credibility, and deliver. So I think that that's a major component of it as well. All right. I'm ready to talk about Waymo.
We're just going to talk about Waymo.
Let's talk about Waymo because we just got to see this in action like firsthand 2 weeks ago.
Waymo's once overly courteous robotaxis are getting a software personality shift in San Francisco. Assertive, human-like driving that's raising some eyebrows, improving flow, and occasionally bending some rules like a good old driver. Riders are reporting more aggressive lane changes, quicker merges, tighter gaps, closer to how a real-world urban driver would operate. The shift follows complaints that overly passive autonomous vehicles caused congestions, got stuck behind obstacles, and struggled downtown. Recent incidents include an illegal U-turn, a lane change with no signal, even a tragic neighborhood cat strike, fueling debate over too human behavior. Maybe it got learned from your boy. Waymo says more assertiveness is required to scale in busy cities, with updates teaching AVs to make common sense decisions when laws conflict. Chris Ludwig, Senior Director of Product Management at Waymo, said it was really necessary for us to actually scale this up in San Francisco, especially because of how busy it gets.
Okay, so we were in LA when and there are Waymos everywhere. And we were watching these things at red lights, and they're like inching forward. You know how you do? You think the light's about to change, so you start inching. So this sucker's ready to go. I remember it wasn't just 6 months ago. We were speaking with somebody on the show, and they were just like, the coolest thing about Waymos are you never feel bad about cutting them off, right? No. And it's real. What it seems like now is that Waymo has like turned up the city driver knob. I'll call it the Philly knob because like they turned up the Philly knob, and so now it's probably a lot harder to cut them off. And I can see why. Like, there's nothing more dangerous than a scared, pensive driver in a high velocity environment. So this change makes a lot of sense, and you know, time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Waymo was already a little bit ahead of the curve, finding ways to like change lanes to be more ahead of like the traffic pattern at a red light or something like that. But I think this is a necessary change. More vehicles that are communicating on the road and understanding what's out in front of them. Actually, this is where things can get tighter and tighter, because the understanding, that the recognition of what's at stake is the speed of decision making can be so much faster the more the compute power that's put into these cars. So I'm all here for it, and I'm ready for a nice aggressive Waymo drive.
I think when you get
close my eyes and get there.
I think when you get in the car or on the app, you should be able to pick one of three options. Like the first one, I'm in no hurry. The second one, match nearby traffic patterns and behaviors. The first one is get me there, right?
No, the first one is go Philly on them.
Go Philly mode. Look, it'd be really curious data to see what people pick when they get in the car. Well, Kyle's at Detroit Airport on his way to Syracuse. Got a lot of stuff coming up for you. Make sure you subscribe to Auto Collabs, autocollabs.com, so you can get that interview with Ryan Decker of Scout and all the other content we've been recording for you.